WNYwatercooler.com.
Disgusting. I mean, both inside and out. It was a total disaster. So I loved it. I gloat over it. I think it's wonderful because I like to see bad people fail.
WNYwatercooler.com.
Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game. Another game.
Now, if you want to crown them, then crown their ass. But they are who we thought they were.
Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? Playoffs?
Fucking thing sucks!
In 5, 4, 3.
Welcome back. WNYwatercooler.com podcast. Look for us on WNYwatercooler.com, YouTube, Twitter, wherever else. We got Coast on the line.
Yep.
So our clown coach decided to keep his job for another year, huh?
I have no problem with anything that McDermott did. He took a risk last week. It obviously backfired. But, you know, your starting quarterback's underperforming. I have no problem with benching the guy. He took a shot, and it took balls, and it didn't work. And he's going back to Taylor now, and we'll see what happens.
It would have actually taken balls to bench Tiny when we were 5-2 or before the season. This was just complete idiocy to do it at just a random time for no apparent fucking reason, because clearly that guy is not better than Tyrod Taylor right now. Clearly.
Random time? We just came off our 2 worst games of the year. We got absolutely crushed in back-to-back games. Our offense was terrible. We just threw for 56 yards. I don't think it was the timing. I had no problem with the timing. Our quarterback has been bad. He benched him. You know, if you go to work and don't do your job well, you're going to get replaced. Tyrod Taylor hadn't done anything to be etched in stone as our starting quarterback.
Yeah, he didn't. But what did Peterman do to deserve to start? Clearly, he's not ready.
Well, clearly it looked like he wasn't ready in that game. There's no question about it. I don't know what they see in practice. Every time he's been in a game, to me, he's looked pretty good. This kid can play, and I'm assuming he looked like that in practice, but obviously they completely whiffed on it, and he was not ready. I don't think the game could have started off any worse for him, though, and that, he had some bad luck there, too.
In the beginning, there was a little bit of bad luck. I'll admit that, but, I mean, clearly the guy's psyche and just pocket awareness, none of that was ready. I mean, the pass that bounced off DeMarco, he put no touch on that. He gunned it right at him.
Oh, my God.
Why are you even running that play to a fullback?
He threw it. DeMarco's caught passes in his league before. He put the ball on DeMarco. That's ridiculous. I just don't agree with that at all. The guy's got to make the catch. And you lose Benjamin, then all of a sudden you have a pick six, and then that next pick, not a great decision, obviously, but there was our right side of our offensive line was a revolving door the whole game. It was just...
We all knew that, though.
I'm not making excuses for the guy. He obviously was terrible.
We all knew going into this game that we were going to it was going to be impossible to block their 2 defensive ends. That was a good chunk of my argument for not doing it.
But the point is, Taylor, he's going to take sacks there. And my opinion is, if you're going 3 and out and punting, then that's a turnover in my mind. 3 and out punt, the other team's getting good field position. In my opinion, a 3 and out and punt is basically a turnover.
I don't remember if this was in the first half or it was the whole game. The starting drive position for the Chargers was the 49-yard line.
Oh, yeah, you can't start. It probably was the whole game, because I bet you the first half was worse, because they started inside our territory twice. But I don't know, man. Obviously Peterman was atrocious. Obviously we would have fared better, most likely, with Taylor. But at the end of the day, there's so many holes on this team that it really doesn't matter who the quarterback is. They're not stopping anybody.
Didn't you think that he went out of bounds on that pick six?
It was too close to call. I mean, if they would have called it...
I must be biased, because it looked to me on that replay like he clearly stepped out of bounds. I never saw a defensive lineman or linebacker pivot like that, not stepping out of bounds and then straighten himself out running down the sidelines. I've never seen that ever happen, ever.
It looked to me like you couldn't see any green in between the guy's shoe and the... Like, it looked to me like he was out, but they called it a TD, and...
Not that it really mattered,
that
but...
was it. It doesn't really matter. We need... the right side of our O-line is horrible. The defense is abysmal. And until these things get fixed, like, Taylor's going to play this week, great. You better be ready to put up 40, because that's what it's going to take.
Why is Ramon Umber covering one of the better wide receivers in the league? I don't get that. What is this scheme?
No answer for Keenan Allen. It was a joke.
He just ran rush shot over everyone and anyone. It was unbelievable. And what is McDermott? That's McDermott's whole thing, is he's a defensive coordinator, a defensive guru. This fucking defense is horrible.
People want to criticize McDermott. Like,
I do.
The national media was embarrassing last week. I hope we can all agree on that. I mean, they have no idea what's going on. And these guys love McDermott, and they're going to crush him for the quarterback decision. If you want to crush McDermott, crush him for this defense. He's a defensive coach, and they can't stop anything. They can't stop the pass. They can't stop the run. I've never seen teams run the ball at will over a 3-game period than what we've seen the past 3 games. It's incredible.
I mean, I didn't think that run defense was horrible last week. It seemed like they just kind of broke it open towards the end, but the whole defense was completely pathetic. But with the national media, it's like we get 1 or 2 national stories a year. The rest of the time, they don't pay attention to us one iota. They don't know anything that's going on here. They don't know nothing about our area or the franchise or anything, which, of course, I don't blame them. So they get one whiff of one story. They all say the exact same thing. This time around, they agreed with me for the most part. But, yeah, why not rip on him for being a terrible defensive mind than this idiotic quarterback change? I mostly agree with that.
The more concerning thing to me is definitely the defense. He took a risk, and it took huge balls to do it. It didn't work. Whatever. And
it's going to cost us.
It's going to cost us how?
When we're 8-8. When we finish 8-8.
We're 7-point dogs. Even if Taylor plays, we're 5-point dogs. We're probably not beating the Chargers.
We'll probably finish 7-9, but this guy is lucky that he's going back to Tyrod, because if you trotted Peterman back out there, I mean, you might not care and have no respect for the national media, but when something like that happens, it just steamrolls, and then it rolls downhill, and everyone listens to that and hears that. He wouldn't come back from this if he tried him out there again.
Right, and I think that whether or not you think the right decision is to put Taylor in or to put Peterman back in, you're right. Like, the national media, the reputation of this guy, nationally would have been just destroyed. He would have been thought of to be a racist for sure, because that's what people love to talk about these days. And people think Tyrod Taylor's like, Joe Montana back there. I don't know why people think he's so good they don't watch the team. One guy tweeted during the game after the pick 6, how long until Taylor comes? It's like you clearly didn't watch the play. Like, you're following, like, GameCast at ESPN, and then you, like, make a stupid comment like that. But yeah, if you would have stuck with Peterman, it would have been, like, the biggest FU to the entire football world to, not put Tyrod back in there. I actually would have loved it.
I mean, it would have been funny, but it would have been, his career's over. I mean, he would have never been. Well, I never thought Malarchuk or Marone would have been head coaches again. So I'm not saying he may not have been a head coach again, but he would have had a foot and a half out the door, and his suitcase would have been packed. And I was predicting that we would have fired him after this year, because if he tried Peterman out there and he shit the bed again, Pagula's got to be. I guarantee Pagula talked to him, or maybe Bean's like, hey, I know I'm just a puppet and I do literally nothing around here, but this other Brandon guy in the office told me I got to tell you to put fucking Tiny Tyrod back in there. Something had to have happened. Or what? Dougie McDermott went back and looked at the tape and realized, oh, wait, he did throw 5 interceptions. Well, what took 2 days?
I don't think that I disagree in that if he would have put Peterman back in there, it would have been 1 foot out the door. I think he basically has till this year 1.5. This year's a total free roll for him. Next year almost is. He's got to find a quarterback and contend by like 2020. And if he doesn't do that, he'll be fired. If he finds a quarterback by then, he's going to be here still. It doesn't really matter what he does this year.
What are you talking about? You think in the middle of last year, or I mean, at least I was saying it. I'm saying there's no way we fire Rex, keep Rex, and then what? We completely just fell apart, shit the bed, shit our pants, and lost almost every game at the end. And we fired him, and I wanted him fired because of dumb decisions that he made. It's the same thing would have happened here. How many times have we fired a coach after 2 years? You saying 2020? You think you'd have 2 more full seasons after this? Look at Cleveland, their idiot head coach. Jackson, they're 1-25 or 1 out of their last 26 wins. You think he's going to be around for another 2 more seasons?
Without a doubt. They're giving them free reign to overturn this roster. It was a different situation with Rex and Whaley. They felt like they had the talent after he took over for Marone to compete. We had a great defense, and they just destroyed it. Not to mention it was a circus hiring his brother. It was just, it was a mess. This is different. They're overturning the roster. To me, this season they weren't supposed to have 5 wins. Like, I think the fact that they went 5-2 screwed up everything they wanted to do. Like, they were expecting to be like a 3-13 team, and like all of a sudden it's like, holy shit, we're 5-2. Like, what do we do now? It like messed up their whole plan, honestly, I think.
Yeah, and that I agree with that, and that goes back to are these guys really the right answer? They really know what they're doing? I would say it's 50-50 at most, but I tend to agree. I may backtrack a little because if we fire McDermott, then we had to fire Bean. So we'd have to completely start over again in 2 years with a new GM because we're not going to have. I mean, I cannot picture us empowering Bean and firing McDermott. So I could be wrong.
No, this is a transition year where there's really nothing they can do to get them, put their job at risk. Next year, they're going to start building their team with their guys, all that stuff they talk about. And if you don't see progress and things aren't ready for 2020 to, typically coaches get 3 years. We're the only joke of a franchise, like, that fires coaches before 3 years. Like, typically,
Cleveland fired their coach after 1 year twice, didn't they?
Yeah, I was wrong about Cleveland. I think they just I don't know. They're just a joke. They're definitely more of a joke than us. But yeah, dude, he's got 3 years, and I think when this team was 5-2, like, we probably kind of knew it deep down. We didn't really want to admit it. Like, I kept telling myself this team was better, all this stuff, but when you look at it, like, they were very lucky to be 5-2. And you probably know, the coaches probably know, the front office probably knows, it's like, wow, we're like, this is fortunate. We don't have the talent. Like, we're not going to, this isn't sustainable. Like, they kind of knew, probably. And now here we are, 5-5, which is probably where most of us would have expected them to be. And
well, we were in denial, but that Jets game, though, I don't know if that was just bad timing. I mean, the Cincy game, those 2 games to me, that Jets game, I just don't understand. I mean, we didn't get the turnovers. Johnson dropped that interception.
Exactly.
And then that was it. That was it. That was the first quarter of the beginning of this losing streak. And then it just fucking, the switch went gone like that.
Yeah, we were down 30. It was 10-7.5. We were down 31-7 that game, like early fourth or something. It was just a complete joke. Powell and Forte were just running through us. Hey, we were exposed, man.
I feel like we've given up like 100 points in the third quarter of the last 3 games, or close to it.
Yeah, I mean, the Saints must have scored. What was the Saints game? 17-7, and then they probably. I mean, I feel like in the blink of an eye, it was.
I think they scored 27 or 20.
I think it was 17-3 because I think the Saints were up 47-3 at one point or something. Like, I don't know. I don't know, man. It's the defense, and everyone talks about like all this like football talk, gap control, whatever the hell that even means. They better figure something out soon because it's embarrassing.
What the fuck was he talking about? We're in the hunt. Why did he say that?
Why did he say we were in the hunt?
Yeah. What?
We are in the hunt, technically.
But last week he didn't give a shit about being in the hunt. This guy.
I think that it's honestly, man. If you look at the output we've got from the quarterback position in most of the games this year, it's really not ridiculous to think that you could get more. Like, they kept Peterman as the backup and cut TJ Yates. Like, you know,
because we didn't care about winning. We didn't like.
I don't know. There's nothing wrong. Like, there was no problem in my mind with benching Tyrod Taylor.
For the 8th quarterback in the 2017 draft, I
don't care. He's the backup quarterback on your team, and your quarterback isn't producing. Your starting quarterback isn't producing. No one's job is untouchable. This guy just threw for 56 yards. We got embarrassed in back-to-back games, and our offense was abysmal in most games this season.
Well, we better not lay in that against the Chiefs. I mean, the Chiefs are just as pathetic. Well, okay, no one's as pathetic as us, except for the Browns. But they're pretty pathetic right now. 1-4 of their last 5. They just signed Darrelle Revis out of the Pokey. I didn't even know the guy. Is he on parole?
Weird signing of Revis, that's for sure. So Kansas City, they lost 9. They lost to the Giants. That's embarrassing. Weather was terrible. They lost by 1 to Oakland in that weird game where Oakland got like 9 untimed downs. The Chiefs are a good team. They're going to put up 35 points. I guarantee it.
I'd be shocked if they didn't.
This team lights us up all the time.
What?
We never beat the Chiefs. We never beat them.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking about it with someone the other day. Like, what was the worst loss to them recently? We had the Tool interception game. We had the fumble by Bryce Brown game. We had the loss where they didn't challenge that Macklin play when I could see it I was like watching that game in like standard depth at Sergio's house, and like I saw that he should have challenged that, and Rex was too busy looking for cheese puffs instead of his goddamn challenge flag. Those 3 games are just unbelievable, terrible.
It was 3 consecutive seasons. I think it was 2014. We were 5-3 in 2014. 5-3. Playing Kansas City with a Tool.
And we're going down we were going down the field to go up by 10.
We were up we were up 10. We were up 13-3.
Oh.
We were about to go up 20-3.
2 tuds, okay.
Then we throw the pick 6, and then I think they have a fumble TD later in the game too. And then the next year, I feel like it was right around the same time of the season. I don't remember what our record was, 2015. Then that's the Bryce Brown and our stupid tight end that can't catch.
Scott Chandler. The ball that was in our end zone. The ball bounces right into his stupid chin. He has both his hands out like he's going to catch a pizza pie in the sky, and he drops it out of the back of the end zone, which is just a dumb rule, by the way. But
unbelievable play. Unbelievable. Yeah, it really is a dumb play. I totally agree. But that play, a dumb rule. That play was just crazy. And then last year, was it left? Or maybe it was. I might have my years mixed up. But then there was the game in Arrowhead where
we didn't play him last year.
Where we had we got up to a fast start. Watkins is tearing up. Second half, we don't do anything. And then if you go back even farther, there's the game where we go to overtime. Where it was a Fitz game where we had the ball at like their 40 like 6 times in a row, and we couldn't do anything. And then they ended up kicking a field goal to win. It's like every time we play them, something crazy, just ridiculous happens.
Yeah, didn't we play them like 8 years ago and we crushed them like 50-10? Or am I thinking of a bingo?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, 2011 opener.
Oh,
we beat them like 40-7. Fred Jackson.
Yeah.
I think Spiller had like a long TD in that game. Maybe we just destroyed them.
Have they still not won a playoff game since like '93? Or did they?
They won one recently.
Oh, they beat Houston or something. Yeah, that doesn't even count. Scratch that one from the record books. So they have one play. I mean, hey, at least they get there. But I mean, this franchise. I mean, I would kill for Andy Reid, and that's pretty sad. That bumbling idiot. I like their offense, but sometimes they do dumb shit.
Alex is regressing to the mean big time.
They do dumb shit. They do like smart things, but it's only like it takes half of a second or like one player out of position for it to go from genius to completely idiotic play.
Yeah, and that's how you're gonna get big. That's Tyreek Hill, and these guys can make big plays, but I feel like it's almost like I don't know. Like, is Tyreek Hill just going to burn you by running great routes, or is it they're going to have some like gadget plays or something? I don't know. Like how he doesn't scare me as like a polished receiver like Keenan Allen, where I was like, we're just like, we just couldn't cover that guy.
And they have two other young like lanky guys that are relatively good, but Kelsey's he might break records. He's gonna have a huge game. Hunt's kind of hit the wall, but he'll probably still have a huge game too. West, the other Hunt
hit with some rookie one, and now he's but I don't know, man. Our D line, I do feel like I do agree with you. I felt like there was more, at least a decent number of like no game plays versus San Diego, but I mean, they still end up going for, I don't know, a lot of yards. But, I don't know, hopefully Hunt's tiring out here second half of the season.
I forgot to look. Did the line move after they announced Tiny would start? Probably not. It's still 9.5.
Yeah, I think that, I feel like the line was probably set based on him playing, because I don't think anyone in the world actually thought Peterman. It would have been just insane if he started Peterman again.
I honestly thought, listening to him on Monday, Dougie McDermott, I thought that they were going to go back to him. I honestly thought that. I was like 60-40 that MP.
The reaction would have been amazing. The reaction would have been amazing for
it would have been funny. People have been talking about this Nick Peterson guy for another like 3 days, and then it would have been must-watch TV.
Yeah, no, you could have lit it up this week, man.
No, I mean how many interceptions is he going to throw in the first half?
Nah, there's no way to know. I don't know, man. I'm kind of giving him I'm still giving him a little bit of a pass for last week.
Well, hopefully he sees the field again, because if that's his only game, he's just going to be his name is just going to be synonymous with joke. I don't actually care because he's rich and I don't really care at all, but it sucks for him.
It does, and I don't know. But everyone's talking about, we ruined his career. I don't buy that at all.
Yeah, look at fucking Todd Collins. I think he's still in the league. So
yeah, like he's gonna ruin his career. I don't buy that at all. The guy's good. The guy's got a game. He'll be fine. Every time he gets out there, he's actually pitching on those 5 times.
I'm sure the Patriots will sign him in 2 years and he'll be fucking good. Tommy Brady, what are you doing? He's got an Achilles injury. Maybe it'll snap.
He's 40 years old, so having a cookie.
Yeah, and Dan Marino. And Marino was probably like 10 years younger, but...
Oh, and Marino, yeah, and he was trying to pass.
Yeah. You got a prediction for this Queefs game?
Yeah, 44-41 Bills. McCoy's going to go off. Ty's going to have his first game. I got a feeling, man. I think that McDermott is sending a message to Taylor. He's like, stop throwing dump offs to Tolbert, and get your head out of your ass, and let's go. That was his whole plan, was to send a message to Tiny Ty.
The only thing I got out of that game was Traveris Cadet is infinitely better than Fat Mike Tolbert. I loved seeing that guy out there. He made a couple of plays. Anytime I see our backup running back get more than 4 yards, that's a win in my book.
He caught him. Yeah, he caught one swing pass and just trucked a guy.
Yeah. Tiny Tyrod Taylor is not going to wake up. The dude's going to do the exact same shit he always does, which is just not throw it long, not do enough. 31-17, we're losing. But the one thing I'll say is now no one has any expectations for these games.
No expectations. I feel more confident now than I have in a long time. I don't know why.
Is Mallory driving?
Got nothing to lose. We're gonna go out there and play free, and Ty's gonna chuck it around all over the field today, and we're gonna put up some points.
Is your daughter driving?
What?
Is your daughter driving?
Nah, she's been yelling at me because she has to go to the bathroom. So we're gonna have to cut this pod off right now.
Yeah, we'll see you Sunday.
44-41 later.
Stop the hammering. Stop the hammering out there. Who's got a hammer? Where is it?
Hey, Peter.
Yeah.
Watch out for your cornhole, bud.
Okay, Lawrence.
This is Nathan for you.
Because you couldn't take a hit? That's a joke. That's an absolute joke is what it is.
Shit, I'm all about the Bills like Thurman Thomas.
We're not making a playoff.